Welcome one and all for the next Forensic Challenge Lab 3 we are going to do. This one is going to be a little bit different. It does not require a forensic report. Instead, we are given a series of images here and a series of questions to answer. So, actually, let me open up. I should have got a Word document ready for this, but I did not think ahead. So while that's opening up, forensic iconology is the process of scientifically examining an image, still or video, to determine if it has been altered and to obtain behavioral and substantive evidence from visual sources. This lab will present a series of images, follow the instructions in each to determine the appropriate answers. We are going to be using a utility for this forensically. It is a site that is out there on the interwebs. There are a lot of other tools that we would use for this, but we use forensically because it is... I like to choose open source tools for teaching. As you may have surmised, if you watched Lab 1 and 2, you know, we were using File Analyzer, FTK Imager, and Autopsy. All of those are freely available and or open source. Forensically is another example of that. And I was using GIMP. Well, I didn't actually end up using it, but I was going to use GIMP before. I choose open source tools and technologies when teaching, simply because, number one, it is cheaper for my university and we don't have a lot of money to begin with. Number two, it is cheaper for students and they don't have a lot of money to begin with. And number three, if I teach them on open source tools, those skills will directly translate to the other paid tools. They may not know the layout or the UI necessarily exactly, but they will know what the tools do and how they work, and that is, in my opinion, the important thing. And number four, students can continue using those tools free of charge after they graduate. So I think it's just better for everybody overall, all around. The only people who don't benefit from that are, of course, the companies that sell licenses to forensic tools, and they don't need that money. They make plenty of it elsewhere. So we use forensically instead of any of the other fancy tools we might otherwise use. All right, so no forensic report is necessary for this lab. Just submit a report answering the following questions. Be sure to provide visual evidence to support your claim when necessary. For example, if you claim an image is fake because of ELA, upload a screenshot of your evidence of this analysis. If you believe an image is altered, try to find the original. We have 10 questions. Well, technically we have more than that because we have sub-questions, but you know, that's just my way of hiding the number of questions that we're actually answering. So let's copy blank doc. Paste the... Oh, that is ugly. There we go. All right. So image translates to question. Yes. All right. So here's our first image. All right. So here's our first image. As we can see, holy smokes. Oh, and these challenges, to give credit where credit is due, do come from somewhere. I'll find it. Give me a second. Somewhere. I should be writing these down. I'll find it. Oh. It might be gone. If that is the same site. Shit, I think it's gone. I think I got this on... No, it was... Photo Forensics, I think. That's F-O-T-O. Photo Forensics. I think this is where I got it. Training, challenges. Oh, this is the right site, but this is a new one. Yeah. Yeah. This is the right site. So these challenges come from photo forensics, but this first one is different. Now it's been replaced with one of the Queen. So, and except for the ones that are my own creation, which we'll get to in just a moment. But this is the first one. All right, we got some weed here, nice crystallization on here, and we got Jesus on it as well. A question merely, is this image faked? So we can take this to forensically. All right, we're going to drop this into forensically there. There's our image nicely at $5 will something. Credit to the weed monger. And we're going to start with, to determine whether or not this is faked, we're going to run it through a number of forensic tests that forensically will help us out greatly with. What we are looking for here is first error level analysis, because essentially what happens is when a lossy image format is compressed, so every time it is saved, a lossy format picture will go through a process of compression through one of basically two main areas, but the main way is discrete cosine transform. And when that happens, a small amount of the image data is actually truncated in the compression process. That results in the generation of errors, which you may also know as Jpeg artifacts. Now, there are more than one lossy image format. Jpeg isn't the only lossy image format, but it is the main lossy image format, hence the moniker. Now, these error levels, these Jpeg artifacts, when quality of an image is high enough, are essentially undetectable by the naked eye, but they can be revealed through a comparison process, and that's what error level analysis is. And this is something that was developed many years ago by Neil Kravitz. And I hope I'm saying that name right, because a lot of his papers went into my study of forensic iconology. But what happens is we take the image that we are comparing, we make a forensic copy of that image, we compress it to 95%, and then we do a direct photo comparison of differences between the two, and it essentially exaggerates error levels. And this reveals photo manipulations because error levels are embedded in the image. They won't necessarily, it's highly unlikely that two images will have the exact same error levels. So when an image is composited, or if there are alterations done to the image which would alter the error pattern, such as sharpening or blurring or whatever, those exaggerations done through the process of error level analysis will reveal themselves. So if we click error level analysis, I can show you what we're talking about. So this is an error level analysis. This is essentially a comparison being done with our original image and one that's been compressed to 95%. The visual image data is stripped out so that we can see the error patterns that are on the image itself. Now, we can see Jpeg artifacts, as you may know. When Jpeg compression occurs, it's done in 8 pixel by 8 pixel matrices, and that's why we get square chunks of Jpeg artifacts or error levels in an image. We can very clearly see chunks here. But the error pattern in an image should be smooth and uniform all the way across, except for errors where there have been alterations done that will either alter the image pattern or the error pattern, or will introduce composite images with different error levels into the same image. We can see, for example, everything is uniform. There are some highlights on the bud, but we expect to see that because Jpeg artifacts or error levels are going to be exaggerated in areas of great color variance, which is why the background, which is mostly, if we go back here, a hand, but a more or less uniformly lit hand, we get most of our error levels in the places where there are, for example, creases in the hand, which we can see here with our magnifier, and all these other errors. Whereas on the bud itself, where we have great variances in color, we have these specks and so on with the crystals and all of that, we see greater variance. This does not mean that everything is fake. We need to compare like to like when we're doing error level analysis, and we can see that in general, the weed itself looks uniform if compared to other areas of the weed. The background looks uniform compared to other areas of the background where the hand is. This is an anomaly, but we know that that comes from the at $5 will, whatever. But we do have greater error levels here where Jesus's face can be seen. And if we take this error level analysis, let's knock the opacity down so we can see a little bit more of that original image in here. We can see that it matches the Jesus face perfectly, right? So what we will do is we're going to need our snipping tool for this because we're going to need to capture some evidence here. And we'll copy this. And is this image faked? Yes, it appears to be faked. It looks like the Jesus face was added via photo manipulation. I really messed up that word. Error level analysis shows increased levels around the Jesus face. Evidence. I'm going to shrink this a little bit. We'll still be able to see it just fine. We could also potentially look at JPEG analysis. No, we're looking for metadata. It doesn't have any metadata. There's no metadata on this image. Okay. We can also look at noise analysis. That shows probably some cloning here. Clone detection in forensically is pretty weak generally. It needs quite a bit of tuning. So we'll count that as good for now. Number 2, is this image fake? So here's our image here. This is a couple of people on the subway. We got one with her ears covered, one with her eyes covered, and one with their mouth covered. So see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. All right, let's do as we did. Import into forensically. Okay. Once again, with error level analysis, we do see that there is, if we compare like to like, all of the bars of the subway seem okay. This up here has a little bit of a highlight. But if we compare, actually, you know what? There is a lot of artifacts around that. To be perfectly frank with you, if I was examining this and I didn't know any better, I would consider that to be suspect. But here we have clear highlights on the mask. We need to compare, we have some other things that we can do. Just through observation, we can see that it's fake because specular highlights and shadows are part of how we absorb and analyze, even subconsciously, visual information. So let me just take the histogram off on this one. The shadows and light are all wrong on this. We can see the light's coming here from above. Everybody is highlighted up here on the top. On the shoulders and everything is where the greatest specular highlights happen to be. And this is a completely flat mask, but error level analysis certainly shows as well. Let me pump up the error scale to exaggerate a bit. What's our JPEG quality here? 93. Let's jump that quality down so we can highlight a bit more. There we go. Yeah, so there we go. At around 88% or so, we can see it's vastly different. So we have a major discrepancy here. That mask is fake. It appears to be fake. The mask is a composite, or the image is a composite. The mask was added via image. Damn it. The mask was added via image manipulation. Error level analysis reveals inconsistent error patterns. And again, let's shrink it down. Good enough. Okay. Number 3, given image 3, does this image support the argument in the accompanying post? There's an accompanying post. Oh, for image 3. Okay, so here's image 3, Berenstein Bears. And here's the post. Doop, doop. I found proof that the Berenstain Bears were once called the Berenstein Bears, maybe. I have a nostalgia folder. Which consists of old ABC Kids commercials, I'm Australian, Goosebumps PDFs, I'm lame, I know, and a large folder of my favorite kids movies. I once had a VCR comic strips. I've scanned pictures of toys I had as a kid, and a whole bunch of random pictures of things like the Magic School Bus, the Rugrats, etc. After reading some of the comments in a post here, I learned that the kids' book's Berenstain Bears was never actually called that. Instead, it's actually the Berenstain Bears. This blew me away, and I actually started questioning a lot of things. I went straight to my nostalgia folder because I knew I had a picture or something with the folder related to the bears. I found it. I actually found something that says Berenstain Bears. Here you go. What is the go? I'm so confused. Okay, let's do as we did before. Question is, given image 3, does this image support the argument in the accompanying post? All right, so we can take a look here. We can do error level analysis, and that doesn't show us quite as much as the other images did. The other images were photographs, and this is obviously an illustration. And error level analysis does not work too well with illustrations like this. The variance in color and lack of the ability to compare, the lack of things like gradients and specular highlights and shadows and stuff tends to mean that the error levels are relatively exaggerated to begin with, at least when we do a comparison. Like, I mean, this looks crazy, right? So we're going to have to rely on some different tools. Let's try noise analysis. We'll get to that eventually, I think. But that's not useful either. What we can actually do in this case, let's try principal component analysis. Yeah, that's also not particularly helpful right now. But we can do clone detection. All right, let's give that a second to work. And we have some hits here. What clone detection is doing essentially is it is essentially quantifying every pixel in the image, and it is drawing and it is linking comparisons to other pixels in the image, or clusters of pixels in the image, I should say, that have similar enough attributes. In this case, the minimal similarity is about 0.1 or so. And the cluster is 8. So if we have 8 consecutive pixels that have similar enough values next to or compared to other pixels in the image, it will call those out. Let's pump up that similarity a little bit to about 20%. And we have one cluster left, and that's this cluster down here. The E and the E, right? So this is an indicator that this isn't image manipulation, because the E over here could have been copied and pasted over an A right here, right? Because those are essentially identical. Now that we know that, let's go back down here and mess with our quality a little bit. Let's see. No. Noise analysis. No. We'll have to be satisfied with clone detection for now. Other tools are a little bit better at revealing this, but I will consider this conclusive for question 3, or at least conclusive enough. We're not actually concluding anything. These are only indicators. So it is likely that the image is manipulated. Clone detection reveals considerable similarity between clusters on the first and suspect E in Berenstein. Am I spelling it right? No. B-E-R-E. Berenstein. Okay. Number 4, this image has been altered in what way? And is there a way we can determine this aside from visual inspection? What is the program used to perform the alteration? Number 4 is this. Here we have a test pilot in front of a plane. The question is this image has been altered, so we know that it's been altered. We can see that it's been altered too. Take yourself 5 seconds while I grab myself a drink and see if you can determine what's missing from this picture that shows that it has been altered. It's missing shadow. Plane has a shadow. Box has a shadow. Left leg has a shadow. No shadow over here. Missing the shadow. We're looking for shadow. All right, so here it is. Error level analysis. We're going to have to mess with this a bit. There we go. We can see it starting to reveal itself. There we go. That's a little bit better. So shadow is missing. In what way, and is there any way we can determine this aside from a visual inspection? The shadow is missing on the subject. Error level analysis shows alterations. And I wouldn't expect any of the students to know this, but this pattern that we see here, this is an example of the error level being altered most likely by a soft edged brushing tool, right? So soft and feathered, there it is. Feathered edges on a clone stamp or just simply airbrush tool or something like that would take care of that. Okay. What program was used to perform the alteration? So for this, we go down here and let's look at metadata. We can see right here when an image is imported into an image editing program such as GIMP or Photoshop, quantization tables are applied to the image. A quantization table goes into that process of compression. It's also it determines a number of different things, which we will talk about in class. I'm not going to go through the whole lecture right here. So if I didn't mention this in the lectures, please bring it up in class and remind me to explain this. But those quantization tables are unique to camera make and models and also to image software and sometimes software versions. And so this one has a quantization table, which is these, which is known to belong to Adobe Photoshop CS2. And so Forensically can do a lookup on that and can provide it. So let's just not paste a gigantic thing in there. And there. All right. And there is no B. So I don't know why that's there. All right. Number 5. The message in this image is obscured with a swirl, not unlike Swirly Face. Swirly Face is Christopher Paul Neal, who is a pedophile who who appeared in child pornography videos, but attempted to obfuscate his face by swirling it out with the swirl tool in Photoshop. There was an Interpol investigation known as Operation Vico to find his identity. They were able to reverse the swirl and get his picture, and then he was captured later on. What is the message hidden here? So this is the image as it is. And I'm gonna need GIMP. So let's file new. Okay. And let's drop that into GIMP. I don't like that at all. File. I don't want to do that. Image. Canvas size image, canvas size. Okay. There we go. That's better. All right. So the swirl tool in image editing software works off of a process known as laminar flow, which you might have heard of before. So, like, if you've seen videos like this, I can search probably for just about any. Yeah, like right here is fine. Laminar flow is this phenomenon where you may have seen with water coming out of a balloon or something, but as it flows out, it's the king of random and Captain Disillusion. Anyway, so this phenomenon here, right, where water is flowing out, but it appears to be still, even though it is flowing, and there's various different reasons for that. Laminar flow in a gelatin medium means essentially that it's not mixing; it's stretching the like, for example. Hold on, there's probably a better video. Laminar flow swirl. There is a video I show my students. This is probably it. Excuse the ads while I get to the actual video. Okay. Viscosity. So here we inject some dye into a semi-fluid or gelatin media. This could actually be a fluid as long as the densities are correct. But they don't mix in laminar flow because we're not actually mixing anything. We're just stretching essentially along one or several axes, right? Now what happens when it reverses, it will all go back as it was at the beginning because no actual mixing occurred. It's just distortion. It's just stretching. So that's what's happening the same way with digital images in this. So let's pick that. And we need filters, distorts, we need whirl and pinch, okay? And now what we can do is adjust these in the right direction. We're just waiting for the words to become more clear. And now we can read it. Whoever fights monsters should see to it that they, in the process, does not become one. And if you gaze long enough into the abyss, this will gaze back into you. It's Nietzsche. I'm just going to post the image. There's no need to... You don't have to write out the text and post an image. I can read the text just fine. All right. Let's close some of these guys down here. Don't need you, don't need you, don't need you, and don't need you anymore. We have Kim Jong-un 1, 2, 3, 4. Which of these is original, if any? So we're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4 versions of forensically, and we will drop 1, 2, 3, 4. Gangnam Style. Passport. A Yu-Gi-Oh card. I don't know if that's actually a Yu-Gi-Oh. I think it's a Yu-Gi-Oh card. If it's not, somebody feel free to eviscerate me in the comments. And disk. We can see that there's a lot of Jpeg artifacts on this one with just a histogram and the magnifier. These are Jpeg artifacts if you're not familiar with what they might actually look like. Error level analysis. We have a high level of errors on the disk, high level of errors on the card, a more or less uniform error pattern. I want this one to be real so bad. And there is a uniform error level across the whole thing, oddly enough. Let's try messing with the quality a little bit. Yeah, if we tamp down on the error scale a little bit, clearly it's fake. There's tons of errors over here on Gangnam Style and on the headphones. So This one is the real one, number 2. And I'm so disappointed. My disappointment is immeasurable and my day is ruined. Of these, number 2 appears to be legitimate. It has a uniform error pattern across the image with agreements in highlights and shadows. And there's our evidence. Oop, there we go. 7. No news, good news 1. Is there a second one? No news, good news 2. No news, good news 3. What is the question? In our day and age, nearly every image we present with this, In our day and age, nearly every image we are presented with is altered in some way. Models are airbrushed, advertisements substitute glue for milk because it appears more photogenic, movies contain CGI, everything is packaged for the best presentation and our immediate consumption. For this reason, not all alterations to an image are an attempt to spoil evidence per se. These 3 images are from news publications. Evaluate each picture. Can you see any alterations? In what ways were they altered? Are any of these alterations intended to augment the narrative of the image or just make them more aesthetically pleasing? We're going to combine this. This shouldn't be 3 separate questions. One question of these is enough. All right, so let's drop no news, good news into here. And number 2. And number 3. All right, so for this one here, start with error level analysis. So again, we have to compare like to like. We have in the foreground, we have this beige colored grass. We have soldiers in their digital camo. We have... Okay, I can already tell that this has been altered. Look at the focal distance. Everybody here is, these guys right here, are fairly clear. This guy in the front is extremely blurry, and the background is all just a blur. And if we look at the error level, there should be, if we compare like to like, other than the artificial blur, color and light is more or less uniform, at least in this tall grass. So what we would expect to see are variances, excuse me, are variances in where there's disparity in the image. And this is a big block of dark green next to bright, lightish, beigeish color grass. And instead, we just have a black hole here for a background. Our soldier in the front is also similarly colored, other than the artificial blur, but still, we would expect him to have similar error patterns to these guys. So basically what I'm getting at is at one point, most of the image would have had this error pattern, but it doesn't. It's just all a big black hole because of all of the artificial blur. This one right here, yeah, his error level is elevated. Error levels will be elevated when an image is sharpened, because it also sharpens errors in the image as well. So for example, all of these people here, we can see there are Jpeg artifacts here, but they're all small. Yep. So this is consistent with a sharpened image. What's this here in the background? Oh, it's a light. Look at that error level over the light. It's just a huge block of errors over these reflections, which we would expect there to be error levels because it's an area of great disparity. There's a bright orange next to a basically black object, but these error levels are so exaggerated. So this image appears to have been sharpened. This one right here just looks fake as hell, just off the top. And yeah, we have an elevated error level here, but this is red, and all the other colors are neutral grays. But still, the image does look like it has been sharpened. But the gentleman here that's kissing the ring is a completely different error level. I exaggerate this a little bit by tamping up our error scale. This is a composite. This image is a composite. He has been pasted in here, which is obvious if you look at it because specular highlights and shadows are all wrong. The light is coming from a camera flash. I'm guessing there's a shadow cast on this person's face, but from where? There should be an object here that's not there. But the light level on this guy is coming from above, and on the shoulders we can see shadows here, shadows under his elbow. So they don't agree at all. So our conclusion here, the first two were altered for the purpose of making them more aesthetically pleasing. The last image appears to have been edited to be embarrassing for the subject. I'm going to expound a little bit. Image 1 was blurred. Image 2 is sharpened. Image 3, I should be consistent. Image 3 is a composite. I mean, if we look at it also, what is he supposed to be looking at? Is he looking at the back of the guy's head? It doesn't make any sense. Follow these eyes. Follow Dracula's eyes. Dude, did you know you got a bald spot? Shit, you better get yourself some keeps. That's the shit I've been seeing advertised on YouTube lately. All right. 8. Again, we have a post on social media. We have 3 images supposedly of the event. Are any of them camera originals? So we have image. Here is the post. Last night's supermoon over Greece. Posted 10:58 p.m. on 25th June 2015. Here we have image 1. Here we have image 2. And here we have image 3. I'm just going to throw these right into forensically for us. Image 1. Image 2. Image 3. ... All right, let's do error level analysis here. We have high error levels over the moon, but I mean, look at the discrepancy. This is the night sky and a bright moon, right? So we would expect to see error levels in this fashion. This looks a little suspect simply because it looks like it's been sharpened. I mean, look at the halo here around the ruins and stuff. This image probably has been altered, but only to make it more aesthetically pleasing. This one, same deal. This is a crazy error pattern. This has definitely been altered in some fashion or another. But are any of them obviously real? We can't really tell. But that's not asking us which of them are really fake. It wants to know if any of them are camera original. So, as I mentioned before, quantization tables are applied by the camera at image acquisition, and also by image editing or alteration programs when they are imported into the program. Quantization tables relate to the compression level of an image, which again, we should have covered this in class, so if I didn't remind me. But if we go to JPEG analysis, we have quality, right? This tells us essentially how much of the visual image data has been lost via the process of compression. So 99, 99, and 69. So we can rule out image number 1 as being potentially camera original. And we can do that because this is only 70% of the original image data as it was captured on the camera. So this is definitely not original. It may not be altered, but it's not original. Let's check out metadata, and we have no metadata here. But this we know, number 2, we know is not camera original. This was captured on a Canon EOS 5D, but it was also imported into Adobe Photoshop CS2 at some point. It doesn't mean, again, that it was altered with the intent to deceive us, but it's not camera original. It has been in image editing at some point. As for this one, this is the one that we would have to assume is camera original or closest to it, because even though it may look like it's been sharpened, I don't know for sure if it has. And it is at almost full quality. There's no metadata on it, which I consider to be suspicious. But of the 3, what we can say is, of the 3, the 3rd image is most likely to be the camera original. It has no metadata, but the quality is high, and there is no indications to rule it out. Okay? Next question. Can you identify the photographer? Well, for that, what we can do is, instead of using forensically, we can go to Google Image Search and check out Supermoon number 3. Drop that sucker in there. And we have found an image. What is this? Sunyeon Temple of Poseidon. Well, that is either the image or an image, but what is this about us? It doesn't help us. They seem to be using the image without crediting. That's unfortunate. This is where we just were. What's this? Under this is a different image. This is a different image. The moon's in the wrong position. TripAdvisor. Cape Sunio. Greek Hotel. Exclusive resort. It's not going to credit the photography either. I tell you, people these days using images without permission. It's a goddamn shame. All of these are the Acropolis or whatever with the moon in the wrong position. The incorrect position. Okay, then let's check Pinterest. Where did you get it from? Full moon rises. Okay. Article from Ramesh. Satyameva Jayathe R. Ramesh. Are you the photographer? Did you take this? The post says, pictures at Best World Pics last night's supermoon. This was posted 10:58 p.m. on the 25th of June, 2015. This is Saturday, September 11th, 2010. So, somebody's lying. I'm sorry. Is this yours or not? Seems to be the image, but is this yours or not? Translate, Google. Do what you do, Google. Do what you do. All right. I think that the new Google Lens is failing us. Let's try 10i. I don't see no supermoon on here. What will be special about the supermoon of May 6, 2012? This is just somebody using the image again. I feel like this is a news site, and so it is probably the one that we're looking for, but I also don't see the image on the page. And this only goes back to 2017, and the image was supposedly posted before 2010. It existed clearly when that Indian guy posted it on his blog. So this is probably not going to go back far enough. But let's take that name, yeah? Search for that. And then moon. For God's sake. Supermoon. Okay, well, here we have more or less the image. Okay, let's go back to 10i. What are you? Oh, that's that page we saw before. Super Snow Moon. That's not the same picture. God damn it, I swear to God. This is... (8/20/2015). Credit your photographers, people. Just give them credit. And even in the alt data, there's no credit. Swear to God. Why anyone would be a photographer these days? It's got to truly be a labor of love. Let's look at a bunch of these. That one's busted. Let's see. I can't remember what the name of that new reverse image search service is. What was it? Eyes. That's right. This only works with faces. Forgot. All right, fine. Let's go back to Google Images and give it a second try. Oh, that's another thing that we could search for. Sunyun. Thought I saw it for a sec. I might have to scratch this question. This one used to be answerable with just a couple of quick Google searches, which was a nice little OSINT challenge, but the internet has gotten really dumb since I started teaching this class. I don't want fucking... Just credit the fucking... This one was uploaded right to Blogspot. All right. Maybe let's try one of the other images, which we don't believe to be camera original, but might help us in locating the original photographer. That is what we're looking for, right? Yeah, can you identify the photographer? Oh, hold on. Let's also check the metadata here on Forensically. No. Find image source. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Athens under the August full moon. That's not it. No, that's not it. Nope. Athens August full moon experience. Free concerts for the full moon at monuments across Greece. It says it was using the image, but it's not actually using it. Greek reporter, cannabis can fight COVID-19 infection. Really? This is absolutely not related to what I'm looking for. No, not a bookmark. Fuck you. There's nothing here about a fucking moon. Hey, it's the old Google image search results. It does still exist. How about that? I think that's one I already looked at. Greeker than the Greeks. It's probably not it, but let's check it anyway. Full moon over the Temple of Poseidon. Okay. No, I don't see it here. Videos are now wiped from the internet in replacement for its most popular series, Death Battle. But that is my phone just randomly started playing a video. Excuse me. I don't know why it suddenly started doing that. Okay, let's go back. We've already been here. Yeah. Okay, let's try the second page of results. Greece prepares to see the brightest. 10 reasons to visit Athens. Peter Diamandis, Greek reporter, page 2. Nope, I don't see anything about a moon here. Well, there's our picture. That doesn't seem right, though. It's garbage. Absolute fucking garbage. Supermoon appeared in Athens. I just need one person to credit the actual photographer. Just one. Okay, so this is the Twitter account that the other place referred to, but they're obviously not the photographer. The internet has become such trash. This is all just such fucking garbage. Everyone recycling everybody else's content. This is the same fucking thing that we just saw. Nope. There's our image. We at least have a link. It's a hot link, at least, to another site. Perseus.Greek. That's it. 2010. Sunyon, Greece. Equipment, the Takahashi FSQ Digital Photo Pro. So this was not camera original either, but now we know why. There we go. We found it. Taken 2010. And there's our photographer. That sucked. Okay, here we have a girl making a face. What kind of camera took this picture? Is it altered, or is this just how she looks? If it was altered, I'm going to combine these questions as well. Okay. Go back here to forensically. Drop in the wall-eyed girl. There she is. We can find the make and model of the camera. is a Casio XZ3. All right. Now, if we take a look here, was the image altered? Oh, excuse me. Hold on a moment. My eyes are itching. Okay. If we do error level analysis, we can see that it's definitely been altered. We have a black band down the middle where the error pattern is interrupted. If we do noise analysis, we can see there it is. It's a little bit easier to see in that way, maybe. But if we go to metadata, we don't have any tables from image editing software. And if we go to JPEG analysis, it is a high quality near camera original photo. So EXIF data can be altered. So that is one possibility here, but there is actually another possibility that's kind of tricky, which is, well, if we're going to answer that question, let me get rid of some of these tabs here. And we're actually going to need to search up Casio XZ3 manual file type PDF. And some cameras are capable of doing image alterations on board. So we have two possibilities. Either this was edited, and then while the metadata, the EXIF data, can be altered, the quantization tables are much more difficult to alter. They're applied whenever an image is imported into an image editing software. So even if we don't see anything here, we should still see something here. But the fact that we don't means that while it's not entirely impossible that it was edited in Photoshop and then somebody took great pains to make it seem as if it wasn't, I mean great pains other than, of course, altering or making sure the error level or noise levels weren't altered, there is another explanation, which is on-camera alteration. So if we take a look here, we can see looking for camera features, other recording functions. Combining shots of two people in a single image coupling shot, page 69. Nice. Okay, this seems to stop at page 56. Why does it do that? Okay. We seem to have a German version. Okay. Son of a bitch. This is Casio's own fucking site. Their own fucking site doesn't have the whole goddamn manual. Ugh, so hard to do my job sometimes, I swear to God. Oh, there's more than one file. Of course, why wouldn't there be? Okay, moving on. Page 69. Here we go. Coupling shot. You take one picture. The camera then prompts you to wait and set up and then take a second picture. And it combines both pictures together to make it seem as if they were standing together. This way, You don't actually have to have a person actually with you, or you don't have to suffer through standing next to somebody. You can just take two different pictures and stitch them together on camera. So this is most likely what was done in this case. And I'm going to save this goddamn PDF or lose it forever. Okay. It's okay. That's not what I wanted to do. There we go. Is it altered, or is this just how she looks? It is altered, but on camera. The camera supports a coupling shot feature that allows two pictures to be stitched together at camera acquisition. All right. Last one. This image here is my own work, and I'm quite proud of it. As you can see, it is a perfect and absolutely flawless image forgery, but I'm going to give it away. There are 10 things to find in the picture. There are 7 alterations. Why does it say 10 when there's 9? How did I lose a question? Did I forget one? 10, 9, 8. Oh, no, it just did 2 7s for some reason. What in the fuck? What in the hell is going on here? Why? Stop. Microsoft Office. I'm not. Why are you doing this to me? Why do you insist on being B? You're not B. You're supposed to be 8. What the fuck is going on? Is that it? Was that my problem all along? A is not the first fucking thing here. Why are you doing that? Ah. Oh my god, whatever. What the fuck ever. Jesus Christ. I never have. I swear to God, everybody. I use Word all day, every day. I never have problems with bulleted lists or numbered lists or any of that shit. This is not normally a problem for me. I swear I'm not this stupid. Oh, I see. This is all fucked up. Okay. That was my problem all along. Probably should check that to begin with. Whatever. We've already struggled with it, and I don't give a shit anymore, so whatever. Alright, let's go back to forensically, drop this in there. Alright. Now, although my Photoshop skills are impeccable, there are a couple of things here that you may notice with regards to things that may or may not be false. This is, in fact, an image composite. So, obviously, what leaps out at you first, probably the fisherman and the Pegasus. But it's not enough to simply know that something is false. We have to be able to prove it. So, if we tamp up our error levels here, let's go to about 70% or so here. Actually, the error levels aren't bad, but obviously false here in this case. Let's tamp down on the quality and back off on the error scale. All right, so there is a different error pattern here. Let me get rid of, yep, no, there's no. So if we take a look here, the error pattern on our fisherman is obviously incorrect. The Pegasus has a very different, it came from a much higher quality image. So we can see that it actually has fewer errors on it. Severed alterations. So number one, Pegasus, Pegasus are, or Pegasus, whatever, is fictional and has a different error pattern. Fisherman has a different error pattern. Okay, that's 2. 5 to go. And what else we got? We have these items in the water here, these offshoots, rock formations is the word I'm looking for. Specular highlights. You can see that the sun is coming from multiple different directions, right? This one looks fine. The sun coming from somewhere up here, according to the specular highlight here on the bridge. But the highlight is coming from this side on this one back here. So we have down here composite with rock formation, which we can maybe reveal here if we do clone detection as well. Takes a second to do clone detection. All right, we're going to need to make some adjustments here. Minimum similarity down to 3. We're going to have to mess with our detail here as well. Let's go with minimum detail. Let's go with, actually, let's lower our cluster size down to 4. And we may have to bring our similarity up since we are increasing or decreasing our minimal cluster size. Yep, let's bring that minimum similarity back up to about 10. There we go. Let's bring that back down a little bit, I guess. Yeah, we're really not having very good luck here. Let's bring that back up to 10. Let's reduce our block size to 2. I'm going to have to probably increase our maximal image size here as well. All right. Yeah, damn it. It's just, I'm going to pump that all the way back up here. It is detecting clones. Some of these are incidental like this one, but it is detecting cloning up here. And if you look, you can see that a clone stamp was used on the trees. Let's see if we can see that a little bit better with some of these other tools, first of all, though. We're going to just jump to noise analysis here. It's going to take a little bit of a while. This is actually a really big image. All right. So if we go up here, we can see clone stamping was definitely done. Here. Up here. All right, noise pattern. Okay, we can see there is the secret image we were looking at. It says H U N T E R 2. One hidden message is Hunter 2. We can see also the noise pattern. Noise is embedded in an image at capture, and it's essentially non-visual data that is captured as part of the visual image processing. We would expect a noise pattern to be uniform across an image. It's not. The sky, in this case, has no noise pattern relative to the rest of the image, so that's another alteration there. Composites sky is false. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. We're not seeing. Oh yeah, we can see the clone stamp very clearly here in the noise pattern. You can see the noise pattern is repeated. Clone stamp used on trees to fill gaps. So 1, 2, that's 5. Next we have some component analysis. So with principal component analysis, what it does is it simplifies visual image data by essentially representing image data along according to 3 axes. So the greatest variance across 2 axes, or sorry, the greatest similarity across 2 axes, and then the greatest difference along a third. And we can do that along different ways to represent visual image data. In this case, forensically, it has color and luminance, and through different modes. So the color data we see here, if we do luminance, it'll give a second to do it. And we can also view it across different components of those components. So this is a luminance projection right here. So if we go back to color, though, this does reveal one thing, which is it is present visually in the image, but you may have missed without it being more obvious with principal component analysis, which is this figure here in the water. And now that we can see that it's there, if we go to this, we can see that there is a false river bottom here with a statue in it. So we do have also a composite with statue in the water. And the last one isn't one that really comes up with any of our tools. We have to only do this one visually. But there are purple flowers over here on the side, but if we look at the reflection in the water, we can see that those flowers are actually pink. Purple, pink. So, color alteration with flowers on the right. All right, where was the picture taken, and then where was it really taken? So if we look here at the geotags, we can see that it was taken at this place. And we can actually zoom in here and get the place name. We can see here this is I can't tell where the border between Peru and Chile are. So I can't tell if this is... Okay, it's in Chile. Region de Tarapaco. Or Tarapaca. And zoom in here. It is Cerro Unita. And there's a site there. The Gigante de Atacama. If we look up Gigante de Atacama, that does not look at all like our bridge, right? That's not our bridge. So we need to do an image search again. All right. This is our Huckleberry. Rakotsbruck Bridge in Gablenz, Saxony, Germany. We do cover steganography in the class, but we should probably do it at a different unit when we're not working on iconology. So, okay. So then that's it. With no steganography, we are done. This is the report. Let's save that. And all right, that means that we are going to be moving on to 4, and that's 4 of 8. So we will be halfway done after the next video. So take care.